Former US Assistant Secretary of State for Near Eastern Affairs and an expert on the Middle East. Barbara, thanks very much for your time. Is this a deliberate tactic from Donald Trump to keep everyone guessing? He makes verbal threats. He threatens to send more military assets to the Middle East, but continually says that he thinks Iran does want a deal and that they should sign one.
Well, no question, and it's a familiar tactic. And look, he has said many times that nobody knows what he's going to do, including himself, until the last minute. But what he is clearly preparing to do is to collect a larger set of military tools in the region, should he decide to go down that road.
Rafael Grossi, the head of the IAEA, the nuclear watchdog for the UN, said earlier that a deal has to be done and it's going to require imagination, flexibility and concessions. Will that be on both sides or just from Iran?
Well, I think Iran has far fewer cards to play, as it were. The U.S. has a much greater set of tools, of leverage, of pressure to apply to the regime. So it comes down to a question of timing, of complexity, of what's put on the table, how high, how extensive the demands on the Iranian side are. They're looking for a complete lift of all sanctions. That's a familiar stance that they've taken in the past, but they won't get that. The question is, what is Trump driving for? And that is far from clear, as we just heard.
Well, and on that point, I mean, how much of this is about Trump's personal popularity right now and his domestic situation? He's got his MAGA base, where he's lost popularity over a number of issues, including the economy. And, you know, this could be about legacy for Donald Trump, not necessarily about how he views the Middle East.
Well, notwithstanding that he said repeatedly that the nuclear program had been obliterated in June. In fact, there is no way to achieve certainty, or as close to certainty as one can come, without a negotiated arrangement that includes a very intrusive inspection regime, possibly more intrusive than the one from the JCPOA. And that's what he's facing.
And as for the next round of talks, we don't quite know when those will happen, but we expect that Oman may well be the mediator once again. I mean, is that a successful way to conduct these operations? Shuttle diplomacy or shuttle mediation, so to speak, rather than being in the same room around the same table?
Sooner or later, just for efficiency's sake, they will have to sit across a common table and talk directly with each other. This won't otherwise happen.
Okay, Barbara, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Barbara Leaf from Washington, D.C.